Welcome back to Tuesdays with Tuesday. I'm Tuesday and I write fantasy fiction under the name Mary E. Twomey. And today we're going to be reading the next chapter in my book, Savage Hearts. This is book 1 in the Savage Hearts series, book 1 of 5. Today we're going to be reading chapter 17. I have not read this since I published it many years ago, so this will be a fun little treat for the both of us, hopefully. When Santos is speaking, since Santos is mute, he uses sign, so I will do this with my fingers so you know that he is speaking. So get yourself snuggly, get something nice to drink, or like a snuggly blanket. If I was there with you, we would have snuggly blankets, because there's really no other way to listen to a book. All right, chapter 17, Cruz's haunting. Adelita. Stop, no! The sound of someone crying out in the middle of the night wakes me halfway. I can't work out how to sit up until I hear a grunt like one of the guys is being punched. Just like that, I'm sitting up, rousing Santos. What's going on? Santos rolls out of the bed, turns back into a man in the span of a breath, and digs in his backpack for a stick of something. My feet are cold on the floor, but they find their way to the second bed and search out the source of distress. Cruz, wake up, sweetheart. It's a nightmare. I blanch at my accidental term of endearment that couldn't suit Cruz less. He is not sweet, and I am convinced he has never had a heart. Rafi groans on the side closest to the wall, but doesn't sit up. I touch Cruz's forehead, but it doesn't calm or wake him. His chin jerks to the side while his breath syncopates. His eyes remain closed, but it's like his eyeballs are looking all around behind his eyelids. I worry about what he's seeing that could amp him up like this. Rafi finally sits up, rubbing his face in the dark of night. You need help, Santos? Santos responds with a sharp shake of his head and pops a lid off a 5-inch tube in his fist. On the end is a roller, which he swabs across Cruz's temples and down the sides of his neck. The whole room suddenly smells of mint and eucalyptus, waking me more fully. I reach for Cruz's hand because even though sometimes I think he's the worst, I'm not completely heartless. Rafi's sharp intake of breath gives me a warning I don't heed. Yes, Cruz is a jerk, but he's suffering. Pain trumps bickering. Adelita, let go of him. You don't understand. But I understand enough. I know not to end a session on time if a patient is finally opening up. I know not to leave someone to bleed out in the open, exposed to the elements of one's subconscious. As soon as I've got a firm but soothing grip on Cruz's palm, his entire body goes limp. He falls back to a peaceful sleep, his fit leaving in a breath. Santos is completely still, frozen in what looks like panic mingled with confusion. Raphael's eyes are locked on the spot where my hand is joined to Cruz's. Whoa, did you see that? Biento, are you okay? My brows crinkle. Of course I'm okay. It's Cruz who's having some sort of a fit. Then Rafi and Santos start signing to each other with tight lips and stern expressions. I know they're talking about me, but I can't bring myself to voice my indignation. Santos studies the connection with the doctor's eye as he puts the tube away. Rafi runs his hand over his face, his eyes still wide. That never happens. Cruz doesn't get nightmares usually? I ask, rubbing my thumb over the sleeping giant's knuckles. Oh, he gets those all the time, every night. It's just that nothing ever calms him down. Women aren't allowed near him when he's sleeping. That's why he insisted on separate rooms and was upset when we couldn't get one this time. Wow. And they're not nightmares, really. Cruz is haunted. I narrow my eyes at Rafi. Haunted? That's your explanation? I'm going back to bed. Raphael keeps his voice at a whisper. La Sayona comes to torture Cruz in his sleep. I look around to see if there's a bug or something or some other tangible pest that might explain what he's talking about, but there's nothing. What? La Sayona. I'll tell you later. Cruz doesn't like us talking about it, and he really doesn't like people knowing that he's got a problem he can't fix. I let go of Cruz's hand, and immediately he starts getting amped up again. No, not my fault. His breathing turns panicked, his chest contracting violently. I scoop his hand, and he calms. I test the theory, and every time I hold his hand, he goes back into a deep sleep. When I let go, he starts murmuring and worrying without opening his eyes. Rafi and Santos study the oddity. What the... I don't know what to do, I whisper. I can't stay like this all night. Santos starts signing, motioning to his head. Rafi translates, thank goodness. You're certain you don't feel anything different in your mind? There's no foreign element that shouldn't be there? I can't help my grimace. Like a voice? Like a tumor? What are we talking about here? Anything at all, Rafi clarifies. I shrug, taking care not to drop Cruz's hand. Dang, he's a heavy sleeper. Nothing. Rafi turns to Santos. I don't know. I mean, if La Sayona was going to pounce, she already would have, right? Santos nods once, bewildered about something I still don't understand. Rafi's mouth tugs to the side. So, is she in the clear? Because if she is, and she can help Cruz sleep, that might be the most amazing thing in the world. Santos signs a few more things. Rafi scratches a spot on his shoulder and then turns his attention to me. Switch beds with me, Viento. Then La Sayona has a hold of Cruz. When La Sayona has a hold of Cruz, no one gets any sleep. At least this way we have a chance to salvage the night. Are you freaking kidding me? No way am I sleeping in a bed alone with Cruz. He's awful. Santos already has a plan. He shimmies past me and soundlessly moves the nightstand dividing our two beds out toward the door. Then he motions for me to sit on the bed with Cruz and Rafi while he slides our bed over so the two queens are bumped together. There's not a thing I like about this plan, I whisper, with just enough punch to make it clear that this sucks. Santos rubs his fist in a circular motion over his chest, shooting me an apologetic plea to forgive him for Cruz's unconscious neediness. Man, he must really love Cruz to put up with this crap. My shoulders deflate, and though I desperately want to argue for another option, this seems to be the only way to go if any of us wants to sleep tonight. Rafi lays back down and flips the cover up over his shoulder. Santos climbs into the bed, patting the spot between him and Cruz, as if this is the natural thing that should be done. Santos looks so innocent and sympathetic to my conundrum. I don't even know how this will work, since my shoulder really can't stretch out all that far. I'm careful as I lay down, frowning at the slumbering Cruz for putting me in such an awkward position. When the grumpy oaf rolls over onto his side and rests his arm over my stomach, it's harder to stay indignant, but not impossible. He's a little precious when his surly mouth shuts. When my eyes flick to Santos, jerking my chin to beg him to come nearer, it's purely selfish on my part. If I'm being asked to calm Cruz down, then I don't feel too terrible when I silently ask Santos to do the same for me. He rocks closer, and the moment his fingers dance across my forearm, breathing becomes easier. Though he's not a wolf this time, I still want him near, warming my side and giving me that rare feeling of togetherness. I want Santos to chase away the loneliness that's always plagued me. I tug Santos closer with my leg hooking over his, and he doesn't hesitate to give me what I need. If I have to be cuddled up to Cruz, at least I get to have Santos as close as I want. I thread my fingers through his, securing him to me. His hand is pleasantly warm, just like the rest of his body. He's careful with my shoulder, making sure nothing moves too much. Santos kisses my temple, flooding me with a fresh reminder that I'm very much attracted to this man. Santos signs something I don't understand, but I'm too tired to ask about it before I drift off to sleep. Poor Cruz. Poor everybody. That was the end of chapter 17 of Savage Hearts. If you want to read ahead, you can get the ebook for free right now, or you can buy the paperback. Both are available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Kobo and Google Play and Apple and like lots of places. So if you want to read ahead and finish the book, feel free. If you want to wait till next Tuesday, I'll be reading the next chapter to you then. So you can wait till then. I hope you have a great week, and I can't wait to see you.